We welcome the devotees. Continuing our katha. Now, I'm very happy that we're going to start our chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, Dhyan Yoga. And if somehow that you remember the sloka of last sloka of 5th chapter, what is that? Shanti Vrichati Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Surdam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatvam Shantim Richati. Gyatvam Mam Shantim Richati. So before that, there is some hint about Ashtanga Yoga. So now you have to understand what is the sequence. Bhagavad Gita first 6 chapters talks about Karma Yoga. And by Karma Yoga means Nishkam Karma Yoga, in which a person will do his prescribed Varnashram activities, but not for material gains, like for going to Swarga, etc. but for purification of heart. Why? Because a person cannot immediately give up prescribed duties. Just revising what we have learned up till now. And then as his heart gets purified, automatically he will not feel inclined to do prescribed duties. He will have direct realization of Atma, and he will practice Jnana Yoga. And to further enhance his realization and get realization of Paramatma, he will do Ashtanga Yoga. So the Lord has given hint of Ashtanga Yoga in the end part of 5th chapter. Now in this 6th chapter, he will describe it more elaborately. In the first 2 shlokas, he will glorify Nishkam Karma Yoga. Because everybody cannot immediately start practicing Dhyana Yoga unless they have been purified by prescribed activities. So are you able to follow the content? In first 6.1 and 6.2, he will explain the glories of doing prescribed duties in a detached manner, by which a person will get spiritual knowledge. Are you able to follow my English? Do you remember some of this dialogue from somewhere? Are you able to follow my English? Okay. Okay. So we'll chant. Please chant after me. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Anashritah karma phalam
Anashrita karma phalam
Karyam karma karoti yaha
Karya karma karoti
Sa
yaha
sannayasi cha yogi cha
Sa sanyasi cha yogi cha
Na niragnir na chakriyah
Na niragnir na chakriyah
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Anashritah karma phalam
Anashrita karma phalam
Karyam karma karoti yaha
Karyam karma karoti yaha
Sa sannayasi cha yogi cha
Sa sanyasi cha yogi cha
Na niragnir na chakriyah.
Na niragnir na chakriyah.
They are saying the video is not clear. Is it like that for everyone? Everyone? आप दिखाइए फोन में क्लियर ना शो मी दृष्ट है something which is दृष्ट don't you need it's okay isn't it? I mean I think you can pick up. It's not that clear. You'll have to see if the speed of the net is slow or something. It can only happen due to loss of speed. Well, one thing is possible, which is that our video is getting processed. So after a few minutes, it may just... No, speed is full. 300 Mbps. You have to focus your mind as well as focus your eyes. Okay. Otherwise, option is open your books. Something like that. It will be, after a few minutes, it will be okay. Hopefully. After 5 minutes. Because the video is getting processed. Anyhow, we will not want to talk about these things. Please chant after me. I think you can chant the shloka. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Anashritah karma phalam
Anashrita karma phalam
Karyam karma karoti yaha
Karyam karma karoti yaha
Sa sannayasi cha yogi cha
Sa sanyasi cha yogi cha
Na niragnir na chakriyah.
Na niragnir na chakriyah.
Please chant.
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
अनाश्रितः कर्मफलम्
अनाश्रितः कर्मफलं
कार्यं कर्म करोति यः
कार्यं कर्म करोति यः
स सन्न्यासी च योगी च
स सन्न्यासी च योगी च
न निरग्निर्न चाक्रियः
न निरग्निर्न चाक्रियः. Just to inspire you a bit, the words of a person whom you are studying, you are associating with him. And these words are spoken by the Supreme Lord Himself. So we get to associate with the Supreme Lord. At least I think the audio is clear, so be satisfied with the audio. After few minutes it will be okay. It's just that the computer's processor is getting engaged in processing the video. Okay. So we will first read the translation, and fortunately now we have Anvay also. So the way you were relishing Srimad Bhagavatam's Anvay, you will be able to relish and understand the meaning of the words through Anvay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. Now please understand these statements first. These words or these statements will come time and again, being unattached to the fruits of one's work. Now although in the translation the word has been used his, but it is not only referring to a man. His means her also. Does that make sense? Obviously translation could not have been told his or her work. That doesn't work like that. When it is said his, it means her also. It means any human being who is not attached to the fruits of his work. This has to be understood. What does it mean? In this world, every one of us have to act differently. Everyone is not in the same social order. Yes? But mostly or almost everyone works for what? To enjoy the fruits which will come from his action. And what does that happen? By that he becomes bound in further entanglement of action. This is very clear? Now how a person who is a true renounced person will act? He will act. That means suppose he has to do Agnihotra Yajna, for example, then he will do. But Agnihotra Yajna can also give you Swarga, but he won't desire that. Is that clear? So now a question can be there. Many people think like this. If there is no result, why will you act? So sometimes they hear that detached worker or unattached to the fruits of the work means there is no fruit of the work. This is a major confusion. Many times people say, if there is no result, why should we work? Wrong idea. Bhagavad Gita is not saying that. Bhagavad Gita is saying, don't be attached to the result of the work. The result of the work can be Swarga, Swarga means heavenly planets, or can be fame in this world, but a person is not acting for that. So what is the result of the work? He is working for purification of heart. And that's why he says, as he is obligated, is in the renounced order of life. As he is obligated means, as a brahmachari, how you are supposed to act? He acts. And then he goes into grahastha-ashram, how he is supposed to act? He acts. Then vanaprastha and then sannyas. In any ashram, whatever duties are prescribed by Shastra for him, he acts in that way. But a person knows that if I do this duty, I can also get Swarga. If I want, if I desire. But he does not do these duties for getting promotion to heavenly planets or or having some material benefit in this world. He does it for purification of heart. So in any situation, in any world, now in any ashram, he is a true renounced person. Simply giving up the activities does not make a person renounced. It is the attitude of doing that activities which makes a person renounced. Is the translation getting clear to everyone? This is very important. See, you have to understand it again and again and again. This will come again and again. It has to be very clearly understood what is the meaning of unattachment to the fruits of the work. Okay. And more clear terms in definition of bhakti, we are doing things to please Krishna. And by Krishna's pleasure, what we want? Krishna's pleasure. What do you understand? You want to please me. What do you want to get by pleasing me? To please you. What does that mean? Yes, to please you and nothing else. Na dhanam, na janam, na rasundarim. That's what Prabhupada wants. Because by pleasing Krishna, from Krishna's hand so many benedictions can come. But that is cheating. Oh, I'll serve Krishna, but I want those things. Okay? So Shriyansh Prabhu says purification of heart is inbuilt in the work of Varna and Ashram. If I do Sakam, Varnashram, if I follow Varna and Ashram with the material, mundane desires, I am going to Swarga and all that, purification is still be there, but very, very slow. And we must hear carefully. If you tell to such a person, he won't listen to you also. If you tell a person you don't go do this yajna for going to Swarga, he won't listen. He won't listen. He won't listen. I'm telling you, one devotee in our group told, I said, why you want to change job? Do you need more? No. What? If you don't need more, why you want to change job? Well, I'm thinking I'm working for 10 hours and I should be paid more. I'm like, that's a different thing. But do you need more? No. Why? These desires are there which are not going away. See? Even if you instruct, a person will not understand. So this is, here very carefully, even if a person is following Varnan Ashram with the fruitive mentality, still he will get purified eventually. He will go to Swarga, he will come down, he will get bored, again he will go to Swarga, mostly, and because he is following the rules and regulations, he will get some purification. Then this is called karma kanda. He is not absolutely living a bestial life, animalistic life. So he is following Vedas, but then gradually over many periods, over many lifetimes, he will become frustrated. No, this is not good. Is there something higher? Then he will come towards Jnana Kanda. So that's the whole point. That's the bridging point. If you remember, in the second chapter, we were told, I am Atma. We are Atmas. So question will be there, how will I realize my Atma? If I'm only thinking I'm the body, I will want further enjoyment in Swarga, etc. Forgetting that I'm the soul. It's amazing, is it not? You are not going to go to heaven in this body. Who will go? That they don't never think. Who will go? Although it is inbuilt, who will go? Not this body will not go. Who will go? That question does not click to them. Atma jayegi. The soul will go. Soul? What heavenly planets have to do with soul? That question does not come. I was asked, one devotee was sitting in front of me, he was just very new. He said, can you directly perceive your soul? We have heard. Look, what? Can you not see that you are living and this metal is dead? See? The intelligence is not pure. So even after hearing, he will not understand. So anyhow, by this procedure of Varna and Ashram, even with fruitive activity, he will get gradually purified, and then he will come in contact with that Shastra which explains to him about Nishkam Karma Yoga when there is a desire to realize Atma. See, whenever you are qualified for something, Krishna will allow that knowledge to come to you. Don't be worried about it. मैं कुछ समझा पा रहा हूँ कि मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ. So actual purification starts when a person acts selflessly, following Varna and Ashram. Okay, and that person is a sannyasi, not that person who says there is so much difficulty in doing those duties, let me give up those duties. That person is not renounced. Why he is not renounced? Because his heart is still filled with material desires for enjoyment. Okay. Okay, so let us first see the Anvay. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha is very easy. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Yah. Yah means one who is. Now what is the meaning of Yah? Many times in the commentaries, Yah indicates there is no expectation of Varna and Ashram. Who means what? Does it refer to some person special? Can you understand the deep import of the word Yah? anyone in that sense. One who is means anyone. Do you agree? Anyone. Karma phalam anashritaha, who does unattached to the fruits of his work. If you translate it as per Sanskrit, it is karma phalam anashritaha. He does not take shelter of the fruits of his action. Same way. Yes, but what does it mean? He is not taking shelter of fruits of his action. Means he is not attached to the fruits, mundane results which will come by following the duties of Varna and Ashram. He is not interested in that. So what is he interested in? Purifying his heart. Okay? And cha means and. Karoti karyam karma, who works as he is obligated. Kartavya. Kartavya means duty. So he says karyam karma. That action which is supposed to perform. That means a Brahmana must do Agni Hotra sacrifice this time of the day. He will do. A Kshatriya should do like this. Yes, he will do. A Kshatriya should protect the citizens. Yes, but not for going to Swarga. Are you hearing it? Kshatriya can fight the battle for going to Swarga. But no, I will fight the battle for purification of my heart, not for going to Swarga. Are you able to catch now? So whether it is a Brahman or Kshatriya or even Vaishya, I am protecting the cows or anything for the purification of my heart. This is amazing, is it not? How that is possible? You see, you can protect the cows simply as karma kanda. Simply as karma kanda. And you will get piety also. And you go to Swarga also. But purification will be less. Same thing very easily you can map in Bhakti Yoga. One can do Bhakti Yoga with any desire. But if I'm kind of using Bhakti Yoga for fulfilling my material desires, the purification of heart will be much less. You know how the example is given? Wonderful example given by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Some people, this is very funny, how example he gives. He says that some people eat a lot and they don't become fat. You know why? You know why? Because they have insects in their stomachs. So he says, Anyabhilashita are like the insects in the stomach. A person is doing a lot of bhakti, but that is getting drained in fulfilling those desires. Puja, labh, pratishtha, ityadi, ityadi. So with discrimination, understanding that I am soul, one should not do devotional service for all those things. We are not here into Nishkam Karma Yoga, but we take 2 points from Nishkam Karma Yoga. Unattachment to the fruits of the work, and second, that I am not the doer. See, I don't know how I am speaking this Bhagavad Gita, is it not? So if I start speaking for Bhagavad Gita to become famous and all that, that is not the purpose of speaking Bhagavad Gita. That's not what the Lord is telling you to, is it not? He is telling you to be unattached to the fruits of the work. So understanding that I am Atma and I am somehow stuck in this body. Why? Because my heart is impure. So my only duty is to purify my heart. So I'll do all those duties doing which I'll purify myself, I'll realize my Atma. So by doing those duties, I can get other things, but I'm not interested. Swargap varga madhama kathanchid yadi vanchasi. By doing devotional service, you can get swarga, even liberation, all those things very easily. But a devotee says, Lord says, kathanchid yadi vanchati. If somehow other he wants. That means a pure devotee does not want these things. He wants to please Krishna. Mic pe boliye. Speak in the mic.
But still he has some desires to do some. The person who is doing these activities. Otherwise, why he will do?
Without desire, you cannot do anything. That's what I was saying. There is no desire for sense enjoyment, but there is desire for purification.
But is it really possible?
The desire for purification.
Yeah, and he will engage in the.
Tell me how. No, hold on. Why you chant Hare Krishna? And now you have to tell me honest truth. Now you tell me first why you chant Hare Krishna.
Bhakti is different. This is karma.
Why you chant Hare Krishna?
To chant Hare Krishna.
Or basically to purify my heart. One also. Yeah. So when you can do, a Nishkam devotee cannot do. Nishkam devotee means Nishkam Karma Yogi. The way you are doing your bhakti duties for purification of heart, for getting love of God, which actually happens by purification of heart, a Nishkam Karma Yogi will do it for getting Atma realization. What is the difficulty? Achha, everybody chants Hare Krishna only for... answer me. Everybody chants Hare Krishna for purification of heart?
No.
Necessary is it not? So then first those desires will get fulfilled and then he'll get purified.
This Karma Yogi, he is engaged in material activities, correct? Or spiritual activities?
No. Varna and ashram, the Lord himself is saying that Varna and ashram activities are not material in that sense. They are done for the pleasure of the Lord. They are dedicated to the Lord. They are not bhakti, they are not transcendental like that, but when they are done with the attitude that I am doing it for the Lord, this result I don't want, the person gets purified. That's what the Lord says here. The exact Sanskrit word is Jnana Garbha. Jnana Garbha means just like a pregnant lady has the child within the womb. The child is not visible, but in due course of time it will become visible. Similarly, a person who does actions of Varna and ashram in an obligated manner. Obligation is I must do. Obligatory. So, not forgetting some mundane results, then spiritual knowledge of realization of Atma will manifest in his heart in due course of time. This has been discussed in the previous chapters. I think you remember these points. Janak, Astaha Janakadaya. Now, there it is, there in the commentary it has been mentioned that is not only by Varna and ashram, along with bhakti also. See, without bhakti, no result will come. So this we have to understand. As soon as this concept is there, I am doing this activity for Krishna, or at least I am offering the fruits of these activities for Krishna or the Supreme Lord, there is some elements of bhakti. It is not pure devotional service. It is not pure devotional service because actions are performed and the fruit is given to the Lord. But in bhakti, the action itself, the performer itself, everyone is offering himself to Krishna. But I am just mapping it. I am not telling you to do Nishkam Karma Yoga, but 2 points you have to take from Nishkam Karma Yoga. The attitude of not desiring mundane results and thinking or giving up this attitude of doership, that I am the doer. When as soon as you think that I am the doer, then I am the enjoyer also. Why should I give it to Krishna? See? Like this. So such a person is sannyasi. Is the video okay now or is it still giving trouble? Yeah, I told you that it was because of software. Okay, such a person is sannyasi. So, can a Mataji be a sannyasi? Matajis, can you just nod your heads? Can you take sannyas? Being in home, can you be sannyasis? Yes. And my dear Prabhus, being in home also, can you be sannyasis? Yes. Got it? Depending on the... Acha, being a grahastha, can you be a sannyasi? Yes. If he wants to be. सबको संन्यास दे रहे हैं तो ठीक है. Yes. But it's not a matter of saying only. We have to act also. ठीक है. Okay, sannyasi is... Where is that? Go to... As he is obligated, sannyasi is in the renounced order of life. Such a yogi, and he is a true mystic. Yogi means whose senses are connected to Krishna. Na niragnir na cha akriyaha. Not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. That means it's not that by non-performance of duty that a person becomes sannyasi. That is the major problem in India. They think sannyas means kuch nahi karna usko. He does not have to do anything. ऐसा होता नहीं है. I have seen in my example, my life's example, few days back only, some devotee came, a nice devotee. So he was married forcibly. Then wife wanted that child, the child also born. Now he came and where he was falling flat on my feet, literally flat. Swamiji, pata nahi tha kya bolna hai. Swamiji, I have to came to your shelter and I want to give my whole life and this and that. After 3 days he was crying for his son. See? When the heart is not purified by prescribed duties, you may give up those duties momentarily, but the attachment is not there. I said, when you have surrendered your life, just 3 days back you said that I am giving you a lifetime offer. The lifetime offer is finishing in 3 days. How does that work? That's why, now you understand? That's why people should not give up prescribed duties immediately. For most people it's like that. That's why the Lord is glorifying. Because, Lord is not only thinking about 2 or 3 sannyasis. He's thinking about every living entity. So how everybody has to get purified. I personally see within temple the services which I have rendered for 12 years, now in my heart, not even the desire to do those things happen. If you ask me now to put my brain in painting the temple or doing other little heavier management services, I just cannot do that. But I am very much grateful to Krishna that Krishna allowed me to do that services and I got purified by that. And now somehow that by His mercy I can understand Shastra. This is His mercy. I could not sit at that time, just sit down and do nothing. It doesn't work like that. Prithu Prabhu told me, Prabhupada's disciple, when he was young, he said, I could not chant 16 rounds sitting or like that. He has to work. This energy so much is there. You have to work. But by that work, you get purified. His Holiness Kadam Kanan Maharaj told. He said he worked like anything in Govinda restaurant in Vrindavan for many years. And then he said, after that, I was drinking Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? He got purified by that. They're all devotional service, but they're different devotional services. Unless we are purified, we can't just sit and chant Hare Krishna. Even Krishna Prabhu told me, earlier I was very much unsettled when there was no services, but now I can just simply chant Hare Krishna and discuss Chaitanya Charitamrita. Are you able to follow? They are all devotional services, but depending on the consciousness, we are different level, different kind of devotional service we render. Is that okay? I am mapping it to Bhakti field also. We are not here for Nishkam Karma Yoga like that. Okay. So look at the sloka. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha, Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Anashritaha karma phalam, a person who does not take shelter of the fruits of his activities, karyam karma karotu yaha, and who does actions as is obligated to for purification of his heart, so that spiritual knowledge will manifest. Sanyasi, such a person is renounced. 𝐡𝐢𝐭𝐚, and he is the person who is truly mystic. Na niragnir na chakriya, not that person who does not light any fire, that means who does not, and na cha akriya, not that a person who does not do any activity. Simply sitting down and trying to meditate when the mind is not purified is not prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. Mithyachara sa uchyate. We must get purified. Prabhupada said very simply, work now, samadhi later. See, it's very simple. I will pick it up. I'll make fun of one devotee, I can see. I said, why can't you sit down and chant? And that devotee tell, there is someone within me who makes me to walk and chant Hare Krishna. So I said, that was really funny. That devotee was not understanding what he is saying. But I could understand the mode of passion pushes us to do like that. And I was same to same. When I joined, it was so difficult to not wake up, but somehow that by 5:30 I used to feel so sleepy, and then for 10 minutes I would sit like this and sleep and then chant. Although I was enthusiastic for chanting, but not sit down and chant. Then I have to walk and like that. So it's a mode of passion which pushes you to do things like that. Okay? So at different stages of our life, we are in different consciousness. Gita Bhushan commentary. In the 6th chapter, raised hand. Why you are raising hand? You have a question? You can type it. Okay. Because I am recording it offline. So it is easier for me to ask question. Not he lights no fire. What does that mean? Okay. This is a good question. I'm sorry I did not focus on this point. Why do you light fire? Well, normally we say light fire means lighting with the with the igniter, or is it lighter and gas process? No, lighting the fire means doing sacrifice. Okay, good question. Example of fire is given means a person who does not do yajna is not a sannyasi. Because normally in sannyas you do not perform agnihotra yajna. Not normally. Sannyas means you do not perform agnihotra yajna. But what the Lord is saying, without purification of heart, you take sannyas. You are giving up agnihotra performance, but your heart is not purified. So you are not a real sannyasi. I give the example of that boy who just left home, but his attachment to the son is not there, is not gone. ठीक है ना? Sannyasi cannot cook also, but here it is especially referring to Agnihotra sacrifices. Gita Bhushan commentary. In the 6th chapter, the method of Ashtanga Yoga suitable for the person who has been purified through Nishkam Karma Yoga and achieved control of the mind, and the method of creating steadiness in the person of unsteady mind are described. Okay, what you have to understand. The Lord is explaining that Nishkam Karma Yoga Okay, what is explained here is that Ashtanga Yoga is explained. Ashtanga Yoga is explained for who? For that person who got purified by Nishkam Karma Yoga and now his mind is pure. So then he can do Dhyan Yoga. So Ashtanga Yoga is prescribed for that. Also in the 6th chapter explained that a person whose mind is not pure, for them, they have to do Nishkam Karma Yoga. And that's why Nishkam Karma Yoga is glorified here. Basically, nobody is rejected if you can hear it. Are all Zoom devotees able to hear this, that nobody is rejected? Please raise your hand if you are thinking that you have been rejected by Vedas. So you see, Vedas are very compassionate. They are having any kind of consciousness people they want to bring to their fold. So like that. So if you are steady, your mind is controlled, you can do Dhyan Yoga for further advancement. If you cannot, then you do Nishkam Karma Yoga, finish. I give an example, mapping it to Bhakti. Some devotees can then whole day chant 64 rounds, 128 rounds like that. Now we don't have to become discouraged. We can chant 16 rounds and do services for Krishna. We can only act as the level of our consciousness. You can't just sit down and chant 128 rounds. You just can't do that. Maharaj told that very nicely. You can't just do it as an austerity. Krishna has to reveal the taste in the holy name for you. So everybody, try to understand, everybody is continuing from his previous life. Somebody has developed taste for chanting, so he can chant the whole day, fine. But other devotees can also engage in Krishna's service in different ways. Are you able to hear what I am saying? Never compare yourself with others. That doesn't work like that. And that won't help you also. I used to ask my Siksha Guru, Leela Purushottam Prabhuji, how Prabhuji you were studying Bhagavatam 8 hours? Not as a rule, for his taste. तो बोले अरे बाबा natural taste होना चाहिए. very nicely said, अरे you should have natural taste for Bhagavatam. His Holiness Bhakti Brihad Bhagavat Maharaj was telling in one lecture that now he's so much having taste for Prabhupada books that he's reading and then he says, why my neck is paining? And then he raises his head and says, oh, 8 hours have passed. So this is called absorption. So Maharaj got purified by the services, that Krishna is revealing that much. He does not even know when the time is passing. And the days we remember when he said time begins to start when we start in the Bhagavatam class. So you see, everyone has to get purified. This is very good for preaching. You can't just preach to everyone. Join ashram. Yes, Prabhuji, grahast ashram. Red cloth for the kid. Is it not? Yeah. This is stupidity. This is stupid preaching. This will not work for everyone. This doesn't work for everyone. Okay. So ashram to join karna hi hai. The Lord will teach Ashtanga Yoga, the culmination of Nishkam Karma Yoga, which he taught previously. Are you able to follow? Nishkam Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then Ashtanga Yoga. The Lord first praises Nishkam Karma Yoga because of its practicality in 2 verses. Everybody can do. He who performs his actions as duties that should be done, karyam, without desire for domestic animals, food, sons or heaven is a person fixed in Jnana Yoga. Sanyasi means Jnana Yoga. So you see, are you getting the point? Why he is fixed in Jnana Yoga? Because he is fixed in the goal of Jnana Yoga. What is that fixed goal of Jnana Yoga? Atmak realization, self-realization. So he is very fixed in self-realization, but he is not able to, he is doing the prescribed duties only to achieve self-realization. Can you see the fixation in the consciousness? He is doing prescribed duties, but not for, domestic animals or food extra. I want self-realization, but I cannot just sit down and meditate. I can definitely do my prescribed duties. Is it getting clear? If I cannot chant Hare Krishna all day, it's not that I cannot clean the temple, I cannot distribute books. But if your eyes are fixed in getting love of God, you know that all these things are for attaining love of God. Map it to Bhakti. Thik. And a person fixed in Ashtanga Yoga, Yogi. Now, how can be called fixed in Ashtanga Yoga? Because ultimately he will reach the platform of Ashtanga Yoga, which again is for realization of Paramatma. Both of these stages are achieved by execution of Nishkam Karma Yoga. Is it clear? Nishkam Karma Yoga will lead to Jnana Yoga, then it will lead to further Ashtanga Yoga. He is the real sannyasi, not the person in sannyas dress who has renounced things such as fire sacrifice, clear, Niragnihi, and not the yogi with half-closed eyes who give up actions related to bodily maintenance, akriya. So try to understand this point. A person who is not qualified for Jnana Yoga. In Jnana Yoga, a person will not do these prescribed activities like Agnihotra sacrifices. But he is artificially giving up. Then he is not a sannyasi. He is not a Jnana Yogi. Are you able to follow? Similarly, a person is making a show of doing meditation. But when Menaka comes, any sense object comes, then he's looking like this. Or even half closed. Half closed means half you can see, is it not? And with both eyes you can see it to full. Half up means full. So this kind of cheating is not allowed. This kind of cheating is not allowed. So like this. It is recommended here that those who desire to practice Ashtanga Yoga should not suddenly give up prescribed actions. And this has, if you map it to Bhakti, this problem has happened so many times with so many devotees who would just like to jump to Haridas Thakur level and then finish. One of Srila Prabhupada's disciple, he wanted to chant 140 rounds. He went to Mayapur, chanted for some days and then he finished. He was lost. He was not seen in the movement only. This is not how we work. It's not that you eat 10 kgs of food today and then you become a heavyweight the next day. That's why Anunidam is there. Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this chapter, the Lord explains that the process of the eightfold yoga system is a means to control the mind and the senses. However, this is very difficult for people in general to perform, especially in the age of Kali. Although the eightfold yoga system is recommended in this chapter, the Lord emphasizes that the process of karma yoga or acting in Krishna consciousness is better. Everyone acts in this world to maintain his family and their paraphernalia, but no one is working without some self-interest, some personal gratification, be it concentrated or extended. What does it mean? It's very simple. Either I am working in a job to satisfy my senses, or I am working in a job to satisfy the senses of my family or my brother's family, like something like that. Sometimes like happens, like somebody's father is died, that the uncle is providing for them, or I may be working for, for my nation and all those things. It's just expanded sense gratification. The criterion of perfection is to act in Krishna consciousness and not with a view to enjoying the fruits of work. I think this is very clear now, that whatever action I am performing, may Krishna be pleased. Please put it in your curriculum. I am hearing this Bhagavad Gita, at the end you can just remember, Krishna, may you be pleased. Simple. What is the difficulty? After chanting your japa or before chanting japa, Krishna, you be pleased. Simple mapping to Bhakti, very simple. And then see, we make progress. When you offer food to Krishna, Krishna, may you be pleased. I am a simple servant. What is the difficulty? It's all a matter of attitude. A simple example. Attitude is like direction of a road. You walk by car, you move by car only. But where you land up depends on which direction you choose. समझ रहे ना? ठीक है. स्वर्गाप वर्गमत धामा कथंचित यदि वांछति. Very nicely, very easily you can go to Swarga and waste time there. I will use that word. I'll tell you, this complete. When you suppose you actually go to Swarga, you will feel bored because Bhakti is not there. Well, obviously some advantage of Bhakti is there, but just so much sense gratification. How will practice Bhakti? To act in Krishna consciousness is the duty of every living entity, because all are constitutionally parts and parcels of the Supreme. Why I highlighted it? Because I wanted to say a very simple example, which Prabhupada says here. The parts of the body works for the satisfaction of the whole body. Simple as simple. Your hand works for whom? My dear devotees. Prabhuji, just for others only, is it not? for welfare work. Is not one question was asked to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakurji, how many disciples you have? How many disciples? He had 10,000 disciples. He said, 4. 4? How? 2 hands and 2 legs. Why? Because they do what I tell them to do. Then only they are disciples, is it not? So it's very simple. Just like I had some uncomfortableness, I felt, so I just pulled my kurta up. So all this done by my hands only. They have no independence. That's what I wanted to say. The organs of our body act simply to satisfy the body or the person who's having the body. Simply, that's what Prabhupada is telling here. This seems to be so simple, it is difficult to apply. What? Only Krishna? Nothing for me? All glories to Guru and Gauranga, nothing for me? Some glory actually must to be there, is it not? So, that's what Prabhupada says. This is a very nice line. Because we are by default, is it not by default your hand is your hand? Zoom devotees. Are you able to follow this? By constitution, your hand is your hand. Not that somebody has, how to say it, a spare part. It's not a spare part that somebody else's hand has been put in your body. It is your hand. Just simple. Focus on the word constitution. By its makeup, it belongs to your body. So we only belong to Krishna. Then why should we work for anybody else? And anybody else we are working, that is in relationship to Krishna. Simple. Simple as simple. Very nice. The limbs of the body do not act for self-satisfaction, but for the satisfaction of the complete whole. What does it mean? This is very nice. Please try to understand. Okay, I don't know if you have taken a dinner. You will understand very nicely if you have a dinner after the class. Maybe you have some tomato soup and let the hand hold the tomato soup and say, I am working hard to get this tomato soup. Why should I give to the stomach? Eyes will say, we have guided the body to the tomato soup. Let the tomato soup be offered to us. So you understand, or the ears will say, we have heard about the tomato soup. Let the tomato soup be entering into our ears. Yes, one devotee is saying very nicely, all the senses will go on strike. Why should we serve the stomach? He to kuch karta nahi hai. He does not do anything. And he's giving us orders. I am hungry. Give me some tomato soup. What is this? It doesn't work. Even if these senses want, they may go on strike, whatever. But they won't be nourished. So if we want to be nourished spiritually, materially, in any way, we must learn to serve Krishna. To the degree we please Krishna, to that degree we ourselves become pleased. That's what is mentioned here. Similarly, the living entity who acts for satisfaction of the supreme whole and not for personal satisfaction is the perfect sannyasi, the perfect yogi. I will give a different angle to it. Sannyas, you know what does that mean? Samyak nyas. Samyak nyas means being situated. Just like we put tilak, so it says nyas. We put the symbols of Lord Vishnu on the body. Samyak means nice. Nice. So being nicely situated is called sannyas. So what is the situation of the living entity? The servant of Krishna. So if I am serving Krishna, I am sannyasi. Simple. And actually that is the meaning of sannyas. Sannyas means now you are formally declaring that you are socially dead and I am only going to engage my body, mind and words in serving Krishna. This is called sannyas. And why it is a perfect yogi? Because he nicely knows how to join his senses with the master of the senses. Simple. The sannyasis sometimes artificially think that they have become liberated from all material duties. Why they artificially think? Because artificial means not real. So they are not really liberated, but they think that they are liberated. No, we should not. To the effect, they were criticizing Mahaprabhu. Why are you giving up Vedanta and studying, and why are you giving up Vedanta and doing this chanting and dancing? What will happen with this? See, they are giving up devotional service, so how you got purified? If I am pure, I must understand my relationship with Krishna. So without understanding your relationship with Krishna, giving up all these activities, how you have been purified, my dear devotee? not my dear sannyasi, so called. They are impure. If he is pure, he will surrender to Krishna. Namam diskritana muda. A person who is sinful, only that person will not go to Krishna. Okay. And therefore they cease to perform Agnihotra Yagyas or fire sacrifices. But actually they are self-interested because their goal is to become one with the impersonal Brahman. Such a desire is greater than any material desires, but it is not without self-interest. Now this is bewildering. This person has given up wife, family, everything, and he wants liberation, and you say that this is a higher material desires. Why? The reason is, when you go to Swarga, okay, 10,000 years, again you come back, and again there is chance to perform some bhakti. But if a person is merges in Brahma Jyoti, for a very long time he will be away from Krishna. Is it not more enviousness of Krishna? Think about it. That's why it is called tar madhe moksha vansha kaitava pradhan jahan hoite Krishna bhakti hoy antardhyan. Among all kinds of material desires, the desire for liberation is the highest form of cheating desire for the living entity, because if a person has that desire, his bhakti not bhakti finishes, bhakti becomes antardhyan, disappears. Jahan hoite Krishna bhakti hoy antardhyan. If I want to become God, then how can I have bhakti for Krishna? That's why I say greater than any material desire. Similarly, the mystic yogi who practices the yoga system with one more thing. Krishna becomes happy when the living entity selflessly serves Krishna. This is called love. And when I want to merge in Brahman, do I care how Krishna will feel? Who cares? Is it not very impersonal? Is it not itself said it? Not without self-interest. He is thinking to become free from miseries, but he is not thinking what will please Krishna. Are you able to process? I want to become free from miseries. That's fine. But are you thinking to please Krishna? And devotee, what is think? I may suffer or not suffer. My dedication of my life is to satisfy Krishna. I am not self-satisfied. My satisfaction is in satisfaction of Krishna. Nirvidyamana Nam 2.1.11, we have discussed this point. Devotees are not self-satisfied. They are satisfied in serving Krishna, in satisfying Krishna. But these people, they have no concern for Krishna. Similarly, the mystic yogi who practices the yoga system with half open eyes, ceasing all material activities, desires some satisfaction for his personal self. But a person acting in Krishna consciousness works for the satisfaction of the whole without self-interest. Are you able to follow? Normally, a person who's yogi, he will desire, yogic siddhis, how would you say, mystical potencies, so that he can impress people, and ultimately he want to merge in the form of Krishna. That's what they desire. But that won't please Krishna. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for self-satisfaction. His criterion of success is the satisfaction of Krishna, and thus he is the perfect sannyasi or perfect yogi. Lord Chaitanya, the highest perfectional symbol of renunciation, prays in this way. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎 mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐿 𝐶𝐿. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. What I want only is the causeless mercy of your devotional service in my life, birth after birth. A simple point I would like to say. When I want to enjoy in any of these ways, by enjoying women, by enjoying wealth, followers, or kavita means, what is that, panditya? How do you say panditya in English? So-called intellectual gymnastics. Basically what I want to be in the center. This is called interested in one's self-interest. Is it okay? Clear? Understood? Then the Lord will say, at least you should want liberation. Na? Now, why a person will want liberation? Because this place is a place of suffering. But then a pure devotee says, no, I don't want liberation for suffering also. This is interesting. Hear very carefully. He does not want to take birth in this world. But if you so desire Krishna, then may I take birth. If you think I am not perfect in devotional service, I'll again take birth and again endeavor for bhakti. Are you able to follow? And another angle to it, a devotee never feels he is liberated. He always feels, because of my karmas, I will have to take birth again. But may my love for you, my Lord, always remain. What is that? 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎 𝐻𝐵 prasada mukunda murtna pratipatyayache bhavantam ekantam ihartam artham bhavantam ekam ihantam artham avismriti tav charanar vinde 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎 𝐻𝐵 prasada. Beautiful shloka by Mukunda Mala Sutra by Kurukshetra. My Lord, I am putting my head in front at your lotus feet, and only one benediction I want, that in any life I may have, avasmriti tava charanar vinde. I may never forget your lotus feet. And how is it possible? Only by love of God. Now you obviously say, this is a very tricky way. If you never forget Krishna while you take birth again. Simple, is it not? But the way they put it is very nicely. If you never forget Krishna, you will remember Krishna at the time of death also. You go back to Krishna. But they think we don't deserve to be liberated. We are not interested in liberation. Okay, I'll finish with this. We are not targeting liberation. By serving Krishna, we are already liberated. So when you are already liberated, why you target for liberation? You target for bhakti. Are there any comments or questions? This who care attitude is sometimes with devotee approaching with material desires. I have no idea. What is the question? Dhyan yoga person has realized Atma by practice of Nishkam Karma Yoga. Yes. So, what does it mean? The point is that a person who is actual Dhyan yogi, he will not be interested in disturbed by mundane things. But point is being referred to is a person who is not at that platform and gives the prescribed duties prematurely. That person is not a Dhyan yogi. Okay? Okay, so we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thai Gaur Premanande. A small question.